Now, this video is random as fuck, but another bitch came in. Like, it's gonna sound crazy, like I'm a witch or some shit, but no, don't insult my intelligence. When I was working real estate, the boss hired me because she was slipping. Like, you know, I just got my GED, so I didn't want to go back to my previous job as a home attendant, home health aide, and I was already in school. I was in medical school, Sanford Brown Institute in Manhattan before they closed. And I was looking for a job because the little money my kid's father was giving me wasn't really lasting me. I had to pay daycare and I had to cop me little stuff for the house and shit like that. And so it was just not lasting me. It wasn't lasting me enough to go to school and stuff like that. So I was looking for a job. When I found that job through Indeed, it was quick. I wasn't looking for a job too long. Um, it was quick. I was already aware of scams and all this extra shit that was going on. But I felt comfortable enough to go seek this job because I knew the location. I went to school over there when I was younger, so I knew the location very well. It was easy for me to commute from home to the work. Um, but the first day I was scheduled for a fucking interview. Um, I was nervous as fuck. Like, I knew it was gonna be totally different than my interview for home health aid, and I needed a whole resume and all this extra shit. I was actually like nervous. I didn't have the proper like dress attire. It was more last minute. There was a printing shop nearby. I had to print my resume and my cover letter or my reference list or whatever the fuck I had going on then, and my recommendation letters and all this bullshit. And I went to the location at the time that I was supposed to be there. Of course, I got there a little early. The office was closed. They had security in the building, so I asked security, what's going on. Uh, the security guard was around my age, a little, maybe a little older. Not too much, like maybe a year or two older. If not, then definitely around my age. And she was telling me like, oh, this place hasn't been open in years, and this and that, like trying to downgrade the situation. But it's like my gut was telling me wait. So Um, I was contacting her and she was letting me know she's running late. So I was like, okay, cool. Um, and then she got there maybe like a whole hour later or some shit, an hour and a half. I'm not too sure exactly. I can't remember, but it was somewhere around that time frame. And she got there though. She got there. She was able to open up the office. So my first impression of the place, it's a building. It's a co-op building. I recognize the buildings because I'm pretty sure I had classmates that lived there. And it's on the first floor. Um, and so I'm wondering, how does it look inside? Um, she opened the place. She was late. She was like looking disorganized or whatever the fuck was going on. I don't know what she looked like. She had a rough night or some shit or whatever. Woke up on the wrong side of the fucking bed. I don't know. Um, but we got in, and when we got in, it's like an apartment. But it's an office. So I'm like, okay. Um, And she explained to me, stuff about the job. She explained to me what my job description was going to be. She explained that this was a model apartment, um, and all that good stuff. So when it was time for my interview, I thought I was handling all the questions correctly. I was nervous as fuck, and I know she's seen that in me. It was more like a rough draft type of interview type shit because I was not ready at all, but I knew I needed to do this because if not now, when? So, you know, she knew I was nervous. She knew it was like one of my first real jobs and stuff like that. So she knew. So it was more like, well, I didn't even expect her to hire me, honestly. I thought I was going to get one of those, okay, we'll contact you, blah, blah, blah. But she hired me, and I was very, very, very grateful. Um, and I couldn't believe it. But looking back, I feel like she hired me because I saw her slipping. Um, and then when I think about what kind of person she is, what kind of person she was back then, I feel like it was all acting. I feel like it was a scenario where, let's pretend we're late. Let's see if she waits. Let's see if she's worth it. Um, Testing my patience. Um, and she made me feel like I was out of all the people that might have applied or that she might have interviewed, I was obviously the more affordable one. She did let me know that she already hired someone else. Um, so we would be having like split tasks and stuff like that. Um, but I did appreciate her honesty and stuff like that. And we did manage to let each other know our signs. She asked me my sign. She's told me that she was the same sign. So here and there, I do hear this bitch. Um, she does have the same birthday as my younger brother. So there are certain March months where I do hear her. And I'll be wondering, why am I hearing her? The other day, I mentioned in one of my videos how I wouldn't mind working with her again. It's just that I know that working with her again at first is going to be everything, and then she's going to be cracking again. And I don't need that. When I did attempt to go back to work with her, my kids were already with their father. So I figured that would have been the perfect time for me to continue working with her because, if anything, I don't really have any obligations like I did before, where maybe my patience could have been extended and I wouldn't be pressing her so hard for the pay. But because she always ended up paying me, but it's just like on days that she couldn't, I had shit to pay. At one point it wasn't looking right for me to be like, oh, I can't pay you guys right now. Like when I needed to pay daycare and shit like that, when I needed to pay my phone bill, or when I needed to purchase transportation. Like I didn't even mind walking from home to work because it was about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I didn't mind. And she still let me go. So when I went back, they had already moved locations because the unit was sold. So she moved locations and it was still nearby. So that was still convenient. The only thing is, I wouldn't be able to walk to work anymore because it was further than 20, 30 minutes. Um, if anything, if I did try to walk there, it would have been a different route. And I didn't feel comfortable doing a different route than the route that I was doing. Um, but yeah, I felt like she basically used me to pick up her business again, because if everything that the security guard told me was true, um she needed my help. And for her to bring up commission 1 minute and then not be able to pay me commission every time she sold a unit, that was wrong. um when the person that she hired before me left, she upped my pay, I think $1. But at the same time, like, anything was good, because all I need, I had little bills. Like, it wasn't nothing, but I did have a future, like, and I feel like I'm like, I feel like here and there I regret the position, but at the same time it was a learning experience. Now, I don't know why she played me the way she played me. But it could have been jealousy. It could have been just because she can, or she could at the time. Um, but I also feel like it was bias of medical, or bias of the platform where I was applying for work. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just God sent. Like, um, at one point, I did think that maybe it had something to do with my kid's father, uh, with his peoples. Um, because it was a co-op building. I was helping her sell co-ops. Like, the co-op building had transitioned from regular rental to co-ops, so there were certain units that apparently management wanted to sell. Hopefully, that was not a scam. Um, it got to the point where when she did close a unit, nothing else was mentioned. Her employees were expecting commission. She would go MIA. Checks would bounce. It was embarrassing telling my kid's father, my check bounced. It was embarrassing when I wanted to cop me some weed and I couldn't because, the check bounced. It's like, I worked hard a week or two, and during payday, I want my pay. Point blank, period, no matter what the fuck I did with the money. Um, at that time I used to take a whole bunch of cabs between home, my kid's father, work, appointments. I was always organized. I was always a clean chick. I had shit to buy: Lysol, Clorox, wipes, munchies, transportation, shit to update my appearance, my kids' appearance, you know, and this motherfucker still ain't find these monsters. Um, and it's like, my point is, don't let your guard down when you fucking with these cool bosses. They seem cool 1 minute, they flip another minute. Because if what the security guard told me was true, little did I know, later on, she had a daughter around my age who could have been helping her the whole time. But apparently, they had more than one office, and they were real picky, and they neglected the Bronx office. That's when I came in. Um, but the thing is, when me and my coworker at the time, because we really had a cool, uh, like a cool bond as far as how we rotated tasks and shit like that. But then her daughter came in and started working there. or started, acting like she the manager, or, trying to have her do her job and shit. And it was like bothering her more than it was bothering me. Based off her complaints, I realized, oh yeah, you're right. Nah, nah, that's not cool. Like, oh shit, no. But it's like, where was y'all before? Um, but I guess that was the point of us having jobs. Um, then my coworker wanna have her cousin work in the place. So now it got to the point where it was too many bitches working there. Too many. Like hormones, you know, all types of shit. Like, and I was getting annoyed. There was plenty of times where I had to resign, but I loved the job so much I always came back. And I'm like I said, like based off how she acted the first day, I feel like maybe she was acting like that throughout the whole time I was working there on purpose. Because, only she would know. But I feel like it was medical related. I even left school to continue working. I figured me not being in school, I could pick up some more hours. I felt like I liked the job more than what the fuck I was learning in school. And I used to love what the fuck I was learning in school. Coding was my shit. Like that once I was picking up and once my grades was hitting, that shit was addicting a little bit. Um but I think I kind of got nervous towards the end. Like I think that's what happened. I got nervous. Basically because I started smoking again. So I let my nerves take the best of me. Um and like I mentioned in one of my other videos, I should have really went and got drug tested um before school ended. Like before my whole course ended, I would have been good. But as far as the real estate goes, I might hear her from time to time, maybe because I am in a house and she is real estate. But the last time I contacted her, I asked her if she was hiring, and she told me no. So I felt like she was wasting my time because when I did speak to her, we did agree that I was going to meet up with her at the office. And apparently, I got there on a day that I wasn't scheduled to be there. I felt like if she was there, me popping up a day earlier too was not going to be an issue. Um, her daughter, uh, when I got there, nobody was there, so I was talking to the secretary. The secretary contacted them, and they were bugging like, "Well, what is she doing there?" Like, ooh. And it's like I didn't even expect it to be like that. I thought that they would be there, and I just pop up and kind of talk to her in advance and shit like that. But that wasn't the case. So because that wasn't the case, it felt like back in the day, her daughter had a little attitude because where if she was in Brooklyn, she had to pull up to the Bronx and talk to me. But at the same time, why not tell the secretary, can you have her call me, or can you take a message? Can you have her come back? Like, so I felt like that was mad corny. Um, the lawyer that we used to work with was there, so maybe that's why they were a little iffy. Um, Maybe they got paranoid. Maybe they thought I would recognize the customer if it was an old customer, an old client, and obviously it looked like there was a closing going on or some shit. So maybe it was that. Um, but I don't know. I kind of laugh at shit like that today. Um, but yeah, I don't know why I would overhear her today. Like out of all days, like mad random. Um, what else? Uh, yeah, I would still be mindful of cool bosses, young bosses. Um, they could be real spiteful. Um, but yeah, other than the complaints I've been naming, other than that, the job was real cool. Everyone knew I loved that job. Um, I would even go there with hangovers. That's how much I used to love that job. Um, and that's why I feel like it's unfair that we never really did get commission. Um, she called herself trying to call the first commission a bonus, and we never got bonuses after that. Well, I never got bonuses after that. Um, and I don't know, I was so annoyed by that because it's like, why work so hard for you guys to close and then you pretend nothing happened? Um, I feel like she might as well have never mentioned that in the beginning. Um, because trying to work with these clients and their personal records, their personal info is not easy. Sometimes I was going through shit like racist episodes where motherfuckers was already about to catch heart attacks and strokes only because I'm responding to them in Spanish, and they already worked with my coworker who's lighter than me. So it was like pulling teeth sometimes trying to get a cop a ID, a a bill, or anything of that sort. Sometimes their equipment wasn't working. Sometimes I had to go out my way, download apps to get this shit done, you know? And sometimes working with older motherfuckers, they paranoid already. Um, I'm young. I'm scanning documents on my phone. They not too comfortable with that. Um, I feel like if while you have motherfuckers working for you, your equipment want to go down, you needed to press these motherfuckers to fix your equipment. It's been a minute since your shit been active. You needed to really press them about it. She wanted us to do it. Like they give a fuck who we are and what we gotta say. So sometimes working under people is not, it's not cool. Um, especially when they know shows. Especially when they pretend they done gave you the whole guide to the shit and they really didn't. It's like, it's not cool having strangers catch us off guard. You know, we have our own personal issues and paranoia too. Half the time it's like, who are these motherfuckers coming in? You know, um, even with my ex best friend, she knew I loved this job. I was working, she wasn't working. There could have been jealousy there too. Anything to throw me off my shit was happening. Um, and my ex best friend, she called herself talking about she used to work dental. She used to work at a dental office, and there was the person who inspired me to even go to medical school. You know, I don't know if it was something between them two to try to get me off my shit or what the fuck was going on, but it was a lot of messy bullshit going on around that time. Um, even my kid's father at the time, he was like jealous of me when with the job. At one point, he used to be like, "You must really like your boss," insinuating like the bitch is lesbian or some shit, and I must really like her, and that's why I was working with her. Dumb shit. And I'm just like, what is that? What is that like? And when I hit my downfall, I realized, oh, this is what they want. This is how I gotta be. And that shit was whack. Because at one point this lady, she was inspiring to me, and it's like when after everything, when I stopped working with him, when I analyzed my situation, I wondered, was it a setup? Was it a scam? I was wondering that for years. And then I realized, was it immigration that set this position up for me? Because, you know, it wasn't too long after I got the position, motherfuckers was pulling up to the States. Um, and from what she had told me, she had a similar situation too. So it's like I'm not sure what that was about, but I know after I stopped working with her, a whole bunch of my family members pulled up, and a whole bunch of them ended up in houses. And it's like, okay, cool, but I do feel weird. Um, I know that the last time we spoke, and I was supposed to go back to her, she agreed that we could meet up and discuss shit. Um, and after that, um, I had sent over a receipt for my laptop because initially when she interviewed me, she mentioned to me about a company laptop. And during the times I needed a laptop, there was no company laptop. She also mentioned to me how there was a company car. Maybe she was talking about her ride, but whatever. So when my computer went down, I sent her the receipt because I know she had a ride and she could get to the place, and on behalf of me, she could help me get my laptop fixed. But she I don't know what happened with that. Um she even claimed that, she'll put the difference. She wanted me to research what kind of laptop I wanted and all this extra shit, but then no contact. So I thought that was whack. Um I know that when I did go to the office and me and her daughter had like a dispute, I wanted to whoop that girl's ass. She's 1 year older than me, but I wanted to whoop her ass only because she showed herself. She pulled up with leggings, flip flops, her hair done. I ain't never seen this bitch before. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually like the new look, but it was like, why have a nasty, ugly ass attitude with it to make it look like I'm jealous of you? And no lie, I remember going like something like this. Not the rods or the bantus, but I had a hairnet on my head, and then I had a scarf. So while I was there waiting, I took off my scarf and I just had the hairnet. So I was dressed casual, like I was dressed casual because her mother was on that level with me. But because of the location, it looked a bougier. Maybe they felt the way. Maybe she wanted to insinuate I was making them look bad or some shit, like some dumb shit. It was just mad ill. Um, and she be the first one all in my face. Hi, Myra, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. And it's like, who the fuck is this? That's exactly. I was like, who the fuck is this? Her mother always talking about dress codes and how she don't want us wearing tight pants and all that. But her daughter got on tight ass leggings. I could see her crack. Like, what is going on? Um, and then she was with another coworker of mine. Um, I'm not sure if they lesbians or whatever the case was, but I was so annoyed because that's not who I wanted to see. I wanted to see her mother, my boss at that time. Um, and I felt like if she sent them, it was just to irk my nerves. Um, and so once they got in, maybe an hour or two later, hour and a half or two later, I figured, well, they must have been in Brooklyn or whatever, but she looked it upset, like, or she was trying to portray like I run this. What are you doing here? And that's when I was upset. Um, when when they got there, we had to go into an office, and a fake ass oval office. Like they had an oval ass table or some shit. And I was thinking, well, this is dramatic as fuck. Um, and so she started talking to me like, basically, we wasn't expecting you. You waiting here. It's not, whatever the fuck she said. But basically it was like, you shouldn't have been waiting here. We didn't know you was gonna be here. Blah 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 blah. Knowing damn well looked bad they wasn't even there. So um it just wasn't the attitude or the expression I was expecting. Um and after that, like, she got me so angry. I left. I got up and I left. Because I felt like it was just gonna be wasting my time trying to argue back and forth with her if she didn't even know the situation. Um, I felt like if her mother told her, "Well, Myra's gonna be around soon," I felt like it should have just been that kind of vibe, not no her treating me like she's my mother or some shit. And then the coworker who's way older than both of us, um, she tried to chip in some thoughts or two, and I had to like cut that shit off. Like, nah, nobody's talking to you. Because she's another one that used to be all in my face and shit. And it's like, no, 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 no. It's not that kind of time today. I'm not even feeling friendly after this shit. So it's like, no. Um, and I felt like because of the location, these bitches was trying to test me or try to get that side of me. And it was like, why? Y'all bored? Like, I'm trying to get my job back. Like, what the fuck are y'all on? Then it was like they was trying to act like some vultures, mad because they would have had to split their checks with me type shit. And it was like, no, no, no. And it also felt like, no, these bitches is getting commission. Now they mad because now. And I felt like that was unnecessary. After I left the office, I called her mother and I told her about herself. And I told her, listen, I don't need this energy from your daughter. I basically told her, I will fuck your daughter up to let her know I was so upset. And if she has shit to say, she could come out that fucking office. I'm still outside. Like, it was that like, she got me so heated with I don't know if the bitch was high. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I felt like she tried it with me. Um and then and then um she she tried it with me. So it was like I needed to let her mother know because I'm not about to be fake. And if you about to give me my job back, I don't want to see this bitch here. Like, but then she's like, well, but she's been here. Like, she never left type shit. And it's like, listen, you should have been knew what the fuck to tell me before, before I got here. Um, I didn't think it would be an issue. If I felt like I wasn't doing nothing at home and I had the energy, it was a nice ass day. Why the fuck aren't these bitches out here? It would have been the same shit like when I was already at the office. So that's really why she was mad. She was mad because I caught them. They weren't there. Um, Even Google Maps tried to lie to me about the fucking location. I entered the location because her mother sent me the fucking new address. She want to sit there and talk about I'm stalking them. Bitch, what you mean I'm stalking y'all? Like I couldn't believe what she was saying. So I felt like I don't know if her mother updated her, like, oh, Myra's gonna be here, or whatever, but or that's just something she needed to say to the office because motherfuckers wouldn't understand why I'm back. Like, I don't know. But it just was whack. Because like I said, she's 1 year older than me. Um, she was trying to act all intimidating, bitch. I will fuck you up. This is the same bitch pulling up from Brooklyn counting change in front of my face. So I don't get it. You know. I don't get it. She wanna tell me bits and pieces about her personal life, bitch. I don't need to know. So it was like you was almost my friend, basically. It was like, let me feel away because you was almost a friend, someone I call a friend at one point in time because you knew bits and pieces about my life too. So it's like, who the fuck is you now? I didn't think that would be the reaction that, she finally got her hair done is basically what I was thinking. Oh shit. She got a fatty, but other than that, bitch, I don't want you. I do not want you. I hate when straight bitches act like, you staring at them a couple minutes more that, you want them. Um, it's just like annoying. And so I knew the area, so I walked to the bus and I was heated. Like I called my mother, I was telling her about it and all this extra shit. And uh once I got on the bus, her mother calls me. I ignored the call because I was heated. I didn't want to oversay nothing that I would later regret. So I called her back when I got home. And when I got home, I left her a message because she didn't pick up. So that's that dumb shit I be talking about. She was the same sign, and so it was just annoying. I felt like if this is a professional situation, it should have never been like nobody in their feelings. That's how I felt. So um I called her, I left a message, and then I never heard from her again. I think I emailed her a little after that, and she told me she was no longer hiring. And I felt like that was some bullshit. Making it look like she was gonna pick up my laptop, making it look like she was down for me when she wasn't. And then at the end of the day, I don't even know what that was about. Um, and I still ended up getting my laptop because I had to go back to school. Like, but yeah, I don't know. When I was going through that whole unemployment bullshit, um, after my store was paused, I was trying to claim unemployment, and they wasn't trying to give it to me because I didn't make enough the previous year or whatever. When they recently changed the fucking policy, they had just recently changed the shit. So I'm not sure what the amount was before, but they had recently changed this shit, and a lot of annoying shit was happening because of real estate. I feel like um everything and their mother was annoying me. So once I was filing for unemployment, there was a section or something talking about, you might have to contact your previous jobs to try to find work. So I felt good that I always ended up contacting her when I needed a job because then it shows that I knew what the fuck I was doing. Um, Sometimes I want to contact her again, but I don't want to deal with them too. Like it's just like one of those situations you kind of just as hard as it is, you kind of gotta let it go. Um, and I feel like the last time I hit her up, she told me that she would let me know if anything, like if she was hiring or whatever. And honestly, at this point, I'm interested in virtual jobs. I'm not interested in like any contact. Like I feel like me and her was cool to the point where she can even pick me up on times I was depressed or she like, but she wasn't trying to be on that kind of time. So, but I feel like a young boss that's very flexible like that, I feel like that's what they should do. An employee is down, you need to make sure you can lift them up again. If you really give a fuck if they working with you. And I feel like she wasn't doing that. Um there was a time where she asked me for my address, and I feel like, well, if you're my boss and you pay me, you should know where the fuck I live. Like, my kids was with me at that time, and so I was very overprotective. Like, I don't give a fuck who you were. It's like, how you asking me where I live if you pay me? How that go? Like, how that work? I don't get it. Pretty sure my address was on the application. I'm pretty sure my address is related to your bank info and shit like that, because you gotta pay me. So how you don't know where I live? I just I don't get it. I don't get it. That's when I'm like, I don't understand Brooklyn motherfuckers. I'm from the Bronx. I don't get it. Even when I went to school, I didn't understand a lot of these Brooklyn motherfuckers. Mm-mm. But my hun, he wanna act up tonight. I see he not home yet. I was trying to keep the food warm for when he pull up, but I guess he gonna have to microwave his shit because it's late. It's really, really late.